Hey, what's going on, guys? Nick Trigilli here, IFBB Pro. You're watching the Bodybuilding Coach. We cover training, supplement, and nutrition tips on this show. This week's episode, we're going to talk about how to get big legs. Is it necessary to squat, leg press, do all these compound exercises that just make us hurt? I've been training legs, obviously, since the brink of time. Since I started my career, I was an athlete. I was built on strength and conditioning, so power exercises were always in my routine, regardless if I was a bodybuilder. And I was built on a powerlifting background, so my form is the most important part about lifting, controlling the weight, proper technique, and all we did was squat, deadlift, power clean, clean and jerks, bench press, obviously. But talking about legs, specifically just legs when it comes down to compound exercises, I don't believe there's any other way to get the leg development that you absolutely need without doing compound exercises, especially a squat. The reason being is just having that load on the top of your back and squatting down and standing up and having all that weight on top of your back and having your body to fully contract. And I don't mean flex your chest or your biceps as you're squatting, but your whole entire body gets working just to move that weight. And there's no other exercise in the dictionary that does that to you, okay? Obviously deadlifts do it, but squatting is a whole other world. There is no other way to get the development you need in your legs by squatting or some type of squat movement. So they have like the pendulum squats, they have the squat belt, they have all this other stuff to go around what just significantly just works. Old school back squats or front squats, which I think are just the bread and butter of having good legs. Now, the greatest bodybuilder on the planet, Tom Platz, with the best legs on the planet, still to this day, all relied on squats. He did medium to heavy weight squats every single week, rotated sets up and down, rotated feet positioning, repetitions, holds, and he just did so many variations of the squat. That's what got him his horse legs. Not doing, lunges with 400 pounds on his back and leg presses with 3,000 pounds and single leg presses, pendulum squats, like all this crazy belt squats. Like he just did back squats. Okay, he probably did front squats too, but he talks about doing the back squat all the time. Now, do I agree with him? To an extent, yes. I believe that the leg development that you need for quad, hamstring, glute, and the way it all ties in is only going to come from a squatting position. Now, should I use Smith machine or should I use barbell? I think as you get older, injuries become more prone. If you already have injuries and you have to start using the Smith machine, which is fine. I think there's nothing wrong with using the Smith machine. But I think as a teenager, as a newbie to the sport, building new muscle, you have to do a free weight squat. You have to build those little fibers that you don't get that from doing a Smith machine or assisted machine, all those stabilizer muscles that you don't develop because obviously you have a machine helping you. You need to build those. You need to build a foundation. Building a foundation of legs comes from doing squats and then leg presses and then lunges and then whatever else you want to incorporate. You cannot build legs on leg extensions and leg curls. All those exercises are great and they're very strenuous no matter how hard you do it. You put bands and you have your workout partner do resistance for you and do counts and whatever else. That's great. But nothing's going to mimic a squat, guys. You cannot run away from a squat if you want legs, if you want quads, hams, and glutes. There is nothing on the planet that can take place of that. Yeah, you can do those pendulum squats and the belt squats and everything else, but nothing's going to put the stress on your central nervous system like the regular squat does, the back squat or the front squat. The thing is, I do like front squatting on a Smith machine just because it's controlling the bar from rolling down your shoulder blades. But that's the only time I really want to go that route with Smith machine. Other than that, I love free weight squatting because of a lot of reasons. But the main reason is because it's natural. I'm not in a fixed position in a Smith machine where the bar has to go up and down in a line. When I'm squatting, sometimes if something doesn't feel right and I have to kind of go around that, I can do that myself with the bar on my back. If I'm stuck in the Smith machine, I get in there and something doesn't feel right going up and down, that's it. I just got to drop it and let it go. So sometimes I like to be able to do the free weight squat just because I know if I feel something weird or if I'm warming up or if I'm in the middle of a heavy set, something doesn't feel right, I can kind of leverage my left more or my right more, or go around the pain, maybe hold it for a second. You know, you have more lenience there. Makes me feel, in my mind, I have a safer approach to it. But obviously, the Smith machine is much safer because you have pins behind you and you can just rack it anytime. But it's a mental thing, but I believe firing all the muscles in your leg is key. Squeezing your legs. It's not just standing up and down with the weight, guys. It's all about squeezing those quad muscles that you can feel them in your legs when you're standing up and down, gripping the floor with your toes, and firing those muscles. It's not just putting your weight in your back and then praying to God you can stand back up. That is not what squatting is. Okay, squatting is feeling everything, getting the right range of motion, getting the right right range of motion, hitting the right muscle groups, feet positioning. It's a lot more than just putting weight on your back and standing up. I see a lot of kids not doing this without proper form, without proper help. They're leaning over, they're leaning too far back, their legs are not correct, their toes are pointing the wrong way. That's going to lead to injury. You have to be educated on this stuff before you get under the bar and start doing it. Learn the form to the point where it's so perfect, okay, with just the bar, that you can literally, do that in your sleep. You need to maximize that on every weight. You can't just start going up weight because you can stand up with it. It does not make you stronger or strong enough. Practice the form until you nail every single weight going up. You understand? Like, go small increments, 10, 15-pound increments. You don't have to jump up a plate or a quarter every single time. Small increments. These things take time. It's a marathon with this. It's building like a pyramid. One block at a time, guys. When it comes back to building great legs, I think leg presses are great. I think lunges are great. I think the pendulum squat's great. I think the hack squat machines are great. But it all comes down to having a good squat form and be able to squat. We've seen it over the years. Bodybuilders without squats in their workout routines just have different developments of legs. They don't have that pop and detail to them, the thickness to them from the side. We've seen it as guys get older too. They have to get away from the squats because their knees. We see the difference in development, the fullness of them. So we know that the squat is the most important, but we just run away from it for some reason. Obviously, it's the hardest exercise to do, I think, in the whole book of exercises, encyclopedia, and it puts the most stress on you mentally and physically. It's an extremely hard exercise to get down perfectly with, obviously your form and also protecting yourself. Always keep form first when you're executing these power movements. Once you perfect the form, guys, the weight will climb exponentially that you will never even realize. Like, the weight will just start going up. As soon as your form is perfect, the body will naturally just get stronger from that point and just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's when you know you've nailed it. The times where you don't nail it is when you're like, I don't feel right. This isn't good. I'm uncomfortable. Oh, I tweaked this. You're not in your zone yet. You haven't perfected the form. You have to perfect the form to get perfect, to get good legs. You're not going to get good legs from not having perfect form. So once you're able to get the form down, then you can start worrying about leg development, okay? Leg development will come over time. It takes time, a very long time. Don't get frustrated with it. I see so many people that don't have good legs because they give up so early. Oh, that hurt too much, or that was too difficult, or I'll just stick the leg presses, or I'll stick the leg extensions. That's fine. No, you got to learn this stuff, guys. If you want to be a part of, this environment, this group, learn everything, perfect everything, become the best at it. And then when I think the other machines are great once you've perfected the squat, because if you haven't perfected the squat, then I believe, this is just my opinion, I think it's going to throw off your form for the free weight squat. If you start learning on hack squats and Smith machines and pendulum squats and belt squats, that's for the advanced user. Start with the basic stuff like leg extensions and walking lunges and regular body weight squats. And then you can start graduating to machines once you've nailed that form down. The machines are for when people are getting older or people have pains or they have injuries that they have to work around. Use what you can and utilize the tools what you can while you can. Don't dismiss them as they're not good enough, because there's a machine there. Oh, that's better. No, the squat is better, okay? And once you graduate from the squat, and then you can move on to the other stuff. You don't need much for as far as training at legs go, as long as you're training very hard with high intensity. Leg extensions for beginners, lunges and squats, and then leg presses if you want at the end. That's enough for your leg workout, especially for beginners. It's plenty of sets as long as you're training hard, like I said. and you're focused on what the goal is in the workout. But at the end of the day, combat exercises are a must, and a must for big legs. That wraps up this week's episode of The Bodybuilding Coach. Thanks again for listening. If you guys have any questions you want answered on the show, please email us at info@generationiron.com. And make sure you guys follow me at Nick World Class on Instagram. Thanks again, guys. Signing out.